conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
I can earn that solo!
You see what I did?
Yeah,
Come on! What's wrong with you?
Being a man used to be simpler. You guard the cave, provide sustenance, honor thy name. A handshake sealed the deal, and a word was a promise. Today, things are a bit more complicated. We try to impress people we don't know by acquiring things we don't need. We have friends lists, but few real friendships. Things like integrity and kindness have fallen by the wayside. How can we know if we measure up when the scale is constantly changing? The Freemasons believe that a man's job is to be the best version of himself possible, to pursue truth and self-discovery, to give more and take less. We connect with our fellow man so that we may learn from each other, to challenge one another to live up to our highest ideals. We believe a man should be judged by his strength of character, his willingness to make sacrifices to improve both himself and the lives of those around him. For hundreds of years, the Freemasons have helped men find more meaning, to make connections with other men in a way that truly matters. For those seeking a deeper sense of purpose, a chance to make lasting friendships, to reach higher, to find more.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
It's the 2A state championship. All the work in the off season to get to this point, going through a COVID-like season to get to this point. And Coach Beasley's squad for Hamilton Southeastern is ready to take on Coach Meacham's squad of Carmel High School. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Joey Lindstrom alongside my broadcast partner, Troy Darengowski. This game has been so highly anticipated. Both these teams with state championship appearances in the past. HSC winners of one state championship, Carmel with winners of one as well back in 2015. And both these squads ready to go. They have All-Americans on both sides, Troy, All-Staters on both sides. What does each team have to do right out of the gate to gain an advantage?
Well, let me tell you what, if they're not nervous enough, I am for them because I'm anticipating a great matchup here today. I know they've met before, but that doesn't mean a whole lot now, simply from the fact that you're in a playoff state championship situation. Being a former coach, never being in that situation, but being in a playoff, you feel different. And I know the players feel different as well. So I think first off, the key is settle down early. Don't let the nerves get too much. I think we kind of saw that maybe in the 1A championship game. Both teams got off to a slow start until they got that first goal. Then they felt better and kind of settled in. But listen, when you look at the numbers here, it's kind of like looking at a video game, and I've referred that to a lot of teams, but it really is. Hamilton Southeastern is loaded. Carmel's got all kinds of talent. They're loaded as well. I just don't see anything but a great game. If it's anything like the 1A game, you'll be on the edge of your seat until the zeros are on the scoreboard.
The 1A game, a one-goal finish and a win for Guerin Catholic. That game had just a little bit of everything. I mean, we were on pins and needles the entire time. We talk about the All-Americans on both sides. Ty DeSplinter for Hamilton Southeastern at LSM. And then you got Ethan Hall in goal for Carmel. When you have that type of pedigree on each team, what does that do for the rest of the squad? Do you have to rely on them as much? Or do you just say, hey, we know you guys have this recognition. That's amazing, but we still have this job to do. Yeah,
well, you're right. You still have a job to do, but don't take it too far and think you got to do it yourself because you have plenty of help. You mentioned Ethan Hall, all-state, just about all everything, nearly 60% save percentage. So the guy does the job in goal. So it makes you feel good that even if I may make a little bit of a mistake defensively, he's there. But I also think he knows he can count on those guys on defense to help him. And a lot of times today what we saw in the All-Star game, in the club championship, is sometimes the defenders aren't back in position the way they need to be. They will have to be in Carmel's situation because there are so many weapons for Hamilton Southeastern. I always use that term, pick your poison, but every time I look down, there's nothing but rat poison everywhere I go because I don't want to swallow any of these guys.
Right.
Kemp, Smith, Reichert, Sundling, Matheny, Mattiolano, they're all just too good. So I'm not sure that if I'm Carmel's head coach, who do I choose to defend the most?
You mentioned Ryan Kemp there. I want to highlight the stud attackman for both squads. Ryan Kemp, All-American on that side. Matthew Rogers, All-Stater for Carmel. Offense, we thought was going to play such a big role in last game, and I'm thinking the same thing for this pregame. What do both defenses have to do to stop the offensive firepower that's before them?
Well, first off, again, you're going to have to decide who you don't want to hurt you the most. And I don't know about if you can really do that, so you got to keep everything consistent defensively. You mentioned Matt Rogers. I mean, a plus 60 goal guy. It's unheard of. So you got the offensive power, but I think you got to play your position. If you're going to play man-to-man, make sure that you be physical. And this goes for both teams. Be physical, push them away. Don't let them get in the lanes where they can get a really good look at the goal, but stay with what got you here. I know that's that old cliche again, but it's really true. Don't try to change anything now, because if you haven't learned it by now, you're probably not going to, but it got you here. So I would say both defenses stay where you need to be. Don't get beat. And, you talked about the clears earlier in the last game, and I think you're exactly right. That'll probably be a big key here again today, because you saw how that went back and forth.
Let's talk briefly about the face-off specialist for each side. Jacob Katz on the Carmel side likely to start. He's at 68% on his face-off percentage. And on the opposite side for HSC, Jake Lemieux, 64%. What is the impact of the face-off, and how does each team capitalize on those opportunities?
You taught me that a little bit in the last game, and at first you look at it and you go, oh, that sounds pretty normal, but you saw when the team got the face-off, it was almost like it wasn't an automatic goal, but it really put the defense back on their heels a lot. When you talk about the numbers you just talked about, when you start winning those face-offs, you're going to make that other defense work a lot more.
Ranked second and third in face-off percentage in the state. Carmel's got two guys that kind of rotate in between, but that's going to be a huge battle between both these squads. And so as we get ready for the national anthem, it's going to be a good one, Troy. I can't wait to call this game with you and see the action we're about to see.
In this crowd in front of us, Hamilton Southeastern, they will be loud.
They sure will be. We're going to take a quick break for the national anthem. It is the 2A state championship for lacrosse. Both teams seeking their second championship. Both in Carmel winning in 2015 and HSE winning in 2018. You're watching the 2A state championship on IndianaSRN.
Why do more graduating seniors choose Ivy Tech Community College over any other school? Ivy Tech offers flexibility, a wide variety of programs, and thousands of classes, including online options. Our certificates and degrees get students into a great career quickly. And if you want an affordable path to a bachelor's degree, we have guaranteed admissions programs with most four-year universities in Indiana. So you can start at Ivy Tech and transfer as a junior. Ready for a great education at the lowest cost? Complete a free application today.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern High School. The Royals playing host in the 2A state championship game. Joey Lindstrom alongside Troy Darengowski, and it is going to be a great one. Here we go. Troy, a couple key impacts right off the top. What are you seeing?
Fast start. Always start your quarter fast, end your quarter fast. If you can do that, you get a lot of momentum going into the next quarter. One thing about Carmel, and really nobody talks much about this, they're only 17 points away from being undefeated. They lost 3 games this year by a total of 17, and they've allowed only 10 goals twice. And so I think that's a huge key today for their defense, that they know they can hold teams like Hamilton Southeastern in check. Just think about that throughout the game. You can still do it.
The last time these two teams met, HSE victorious, 13-9, and we talked to Coach Meacham prior to the game. He said, you know what, last time we got caught sleeping a couple times. Yeah. We were not ready to play on that day back on March 19th. So taking that, with a grain of salt, you have this opportunity for revenge. Do you think Carmel has the chip on their shoulder, or is it HSE with more of the advantage and more to lose?
Well, let me tell you, I think the team that is playing the best is generally going to win because they're playing best at the right time, and I'll give you an example. I don't know how good Cathedral is. You saw that matchup. They won at 8-7. But let me tell you a little bit about Hamilton Southeastern. In their last 6 games, they've outscored their opponents 86-15. That tells me they are rolling coming into this tournament.
Starting at face-off, Daniel Seed for Carmel. We mentioned that there might be a change to start the game. Daniel Seed, a 65% winner. Well, wouldn't you know it, Jake Lemieux, a 64% face-off winner. It's the 2A state championship here on IndianaSRN. And right away, tied to splinter. Start very similarly for Hamilton Southeastern. They scored in the first 12 seconds of their semifinal game against Culver on Wednesday night. This one trickles out of bounds thanks to Jake Lemieux's stick. Rather unfortunately for HSE, Carmel will begin with their possession.
Well, we talk about Hamilton Southeastern and what a powerful offense they have. And we're going to see a Carmel team that says, you know what, we can play offense as well, and they've got the weapons. Let's see how Hamilton Southeastern defends them here early.
Starting out with the ball back behind X is Kyle Fedorcha. He makes a nice move, forces a slide. Back over the top. Here's Matthew Rogers, the studded junior who has just been excellent. 59 goals to his credit this season. Shot that one over the top. In goal for HSE is Colin Kreckler. And of course, Ethan Hall for Carmel. Back in the opposite side cage.
And Kreckler's a big guy. It's going to be hard to get anything past him because of that size.
Kreckler stands at about 6'2", and he definitely has the advantage as far as covering the top of the net. Nice turnover by HSE. Briefly saving it there was number 6, Quincy Grace. And taking it all the way is Garrett Smith. Garrett Smith, who had 5 goals the other night against Culver. He was a huge impact player right from the get-go.
Well, and this is their first real offensive possession. And again, get the nerves out of the way and see how they'll execute here against a very good Carmel defense.
And those state championship nerves are all too real, right? I mean, we saw Guerin Catholic came out so slow to begin that 1A state championship game, and St. Joe took advantage early up 2-0. See if the story is similar here. By the way, we're going to have some special interviews, some special guests, likely one each quarter, with our beloved coach, Keith Myers, as our sideline reporter. There is Hamilton Southeastern's E.J. Reichert. He had a hat trick. Excuse me, he actually had 4 goals on Wednesday night. Working it behind X. Back around, lateraling it. That pass missed briefly by Matheny. And that's going to be an over and back. Nobody touched it for Carmel, so HSE turns it over.
Limit your mistakes. In a game like this, the fewer mistakes, the better.
Rogers getting beat by the turf monster. And Aiden Honer will take that one. Says, yes, please. Shifts it up to Quincy Grace, and Hamilton Southeastern has another chance.
Let me tell you one thing for sure. If you're Hamilton Southeastern, you can play the energy off this crowd really big time tonight because they are here in force, almost standing room only. When you think about the students being here, it is a great crowd.
It sure is. It's nice to be able to have that environment. And I mean, you love it. You love the juice that's around. Here's Matheny dodging on number 7 Arbuckle. Getting behind X. There's Smith. Smith trying, but great defense. Number 27, Mason Bardwell, and picking it up from his buddy. Or was his buddy, excuse me. That's number 33, Jack Huntington.
Yeah, Bardwell rode him like Seattle Slew, was not going to let him go at any point right there. And that's exactly what you talk about. You know, when you want to be physical and still play within the rules that you got to play in, that's exactly what they needed to do. And Carmel's defense showed that big again here in that last possession.
Successful clear for Carmel. They begin their possession as they get some subs on.
Yeah, like Hamilton Southeastern's defense. Guys looking around. They're communicating. I know you play, and it's communication's huge.
Oh, yeah.
But, boy, you can just see them looking around, making sure everybody's taken care of on defense.
Here's Fedorcha, guarded by short stick D midfielder Quincy Grace. Good job keeping him in the lane, and a nice check to jar that ball loose. Quincy Grace is after it again, and he gets it. Working geometrically, that's Nolan Canese. He's going to go all the way. Canese with the left post shot off the post. Nolan Canese. What an effort by Matheny. Ends up coming up short. And Matthew Rogers takes it, but what a shot by Canese.
Almost knocked the cage down.
Great check by Aiden Honer. This game's got a little bit of everything so far. Officials timeout. Actually, Carmel timeout as they gain possession. Already shaping up to be a good one. We are going to go to our sideline reporter, Keith Myers. What do you got for us, Keith?
I tell you what, guys, the weather might be the forecast here. High 82. The temperature has gone down about 7 degrees since Class 1 game. So that's the field temperature still up there. Humidity at 46%. So you're going to see a lot of timeouts called, I think, with water breaks for the officials. 5-mile-an-hour wind, 10-mile visibility, and 2% chance of rain. Tweet us at IndianaSRN. I'll answer your tweet on the sidelines. It's going to be a great game. And I tell you what, it's exactly what we built up for. Back up to you guys. By the way, the officials looking good tonight, aren't they?
Back up to you guys. Former official. Said by a former official. Well, we saw that in the first game, Troy, that the water breaks came aplenty, right? I mean, the officials were taking the timeout, necessary measurements so people don't cramp.
Yeah, and if I can, we go back to the last game. We were down there. In fact, at one point, you could hear them talking about the water breaks because they knew how important it was going to be, depending how deep you are and how many players you want to play. This thing, if it is, and we expect it to be close in the fourth quarter, you want to keep those guys as fresh as you possibly can because that could be a huge key tonight. But the other thing, may I throw this in?
Sure.
Keith walking the sidelines like that, and he just got done with tennis.
Can you believe that? He said, guys, I'm tired of walking today, but for you guys, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I am here for today. And, by the way, he's a great sideline reporter.
Well, he's going to get in those two huddles, I'm sure, at some point, give us some of that inside information.
Absolutely. Here we go. Fedorcha will start this one out for Carmel. He'll take it up top. A little bit of an ISO look here, trying to get Hamilton Southeastern to slide early. They choose not to because of the great defense by Grace. There's DeSplinter working against Jake Klein, the other huge impact player for this Greyhound squad. Briefly thinking about it was John Kenny. Back up top. Here's a shot. That one gets wide, and Matthew Rogers has not found a shot on goal quite yet. Still getting his feet wet.
Well, you know what? Kyle Brenner was the one who was checking him and being physical. We talked about that early. Make sure you're as physical as possible.
Both these teams excellent at defense, but this one gets behind Kreckler and Carmel. The first to get on the board, Kyle Fedorcha.
Well, there's your first goal, and that's always big. You kind of now break the ice if you're Carmel. And listen, Hamilton Southeastern knows they can respond. But I think it's big for Carmel to get that first goal and now really go back to work on offense because they know now. And that was a great shot, too.
Gets the low bouncer. And an excellent way to start the day if you're Coach Meacham. Picking it up and winning that faceoff once again is Lemieux. He tries to get some quick work going and ends up tossing it out of bounds.
I was going to say just E.J. Riker, just a little bit too much over his head.
And you certainly can hear and feel on the clock cam the energy of this stadium.
Yeah, I'd be nervous. I told you I was nervous before, and I'm not even playing, but having all these people watching you here today in a championship matchup,
so much fun. It's a blast. Here we go, Carmel. Looking to make it 2-0. Greyhounds 15-3 on the season. Hamilton Southeastern 18-2. Their only two losses coming out of state. Hamilton Southeastern, coached by Scott Beasley and Jeff Dombeck, as well as Tim Shefferly. Carmel coach Jack Meacham, assisted by Brent Balick, Spencer Klein, and Xavion Hunt. Trying to get it on the doorstep. That one goes wide. I think the check may have interfered with that. That's number 21, Hayden Grace, who's normally a short stick defensive midfielder. He's got the pole in his hand today. Nice check at the X. That's hard to do, but Hayden Honer makes it look easy.
Yeah, that was a great defensive stop there for Hamilton Southeastern. You kind of felt Carmel's on the verge of scoring again.
And so far, Honer playing out of his mind. Usually you say Ty DeSplinter playing out of his mind at the long stick midfielder and defenseman position. But what does that do? Do you think it kind of elevates the rest of your defense when you're that kind of All-American player?
Yeah, when you see the bottom line is All-American because he earned it, number one. Guys hustle like that. You feed off those guys, and you gain that energy that they have, and you just feel like you can be as good as they can. Or at least you want to be.
Right, exactly. There's Blaine Wirtz looking for some space, tries to get it inside. Recovering it there was number 15, Connor Runo. There's Matheny, nice move. Throws it back to the X to Ryan Kemp. Kemp with a nice ground ball, kind of Canadian style. Rakes it to himself. Here's Wirtz. Good move. Gets it at the doorstep to Smith. And a recovery goal.
They waved off.
Waving it away. It was in the crease, but you hear the Hamilton Southeastern faithful roar.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit disappointed.
Good call by the official, fellas. He was right there at the spot. He was in the crease. Got a flag on the play, though. Just want to get back up to you guys.
We'll get to see what that was. Looks like a push with possession. Just a 30-second penalty.
No goal.
No goal on that one. So Hamilton Southeastern will be a man up. And they are first in the state in man-up opportunities in 2A. They sure know how to take advantage.
Yeah, and having a goal taken away, especially at that point, isn't really a big deal because, again, you're man up right here. And, boy, that was a tough shot. But, listen, there's a confidence you play with when you're man up, knowing they've got to somehow find a way. Yeah, take a look at that. They got to find a way to stop you with one less defender. It's not an easy thing to do.
Smith getting it back up to Sunling, and nice defense by 33 Huntington to jar that one loose, but Hamilton Southeastern recovers once again. We're back at even strength. Here's Matheny. Back behind the cage to Harrison Smith. Garrett Smith, excuse me. Shot, that one goes wide. A little too tall, actually, for Ryan Kemp.
I'm going to add one thing. On 2 possessions right there for Hamilton Southeastern, the Carmel defense deflected passes and really kind of took them out of the offense they wanted to run.
This one getting away from HSE once again, but they chase it down. Again, if you are the closest person to the sideline, you will gain that possession. That's why you'll see goalies or defenders sprint after a shot sometimes, because they think they can get there and get possession for their team. Feeding inside, nice save to track that one down. Great hand-eye coordination by Ethan Hall. Brief crease violation on Matheny, while the goalie was trying to handle that.
Hall's not a big guy either. I would think you want to go high on a lot of your shots if you possibly can, because he's not big. Not that he hasn't done a good job.
Crazy play and a good hit to draw that one. Broken stick on the field. You have to drop it immediately if your stick does break. We saw that in the first game. And that was Blaine Wirtz after the good hit. To turn it over, his stick breaks. Always sad because you love your stick. You go through so much with it, and you all those ball routines, all the checks.
Well, let me ask you then, being a former player, did you take it everywhere with you?
I don't think many places allow a 6 foot pole. There's Sunling trying to weave in and out of some defenders. This game getting a little more physical as we go, but failure to advance. You have to, if you're starting in transition like that, you have to make sure you get the ball in past the 30-yard line in what they call the restraining box within 10 seconds.
And they failed to do that. Doesn't happen very often to a Hamilton Southeastern team. Well, I tell you what, give Ethan Hall credit right there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
He was very patient.
Very patient. Important on your clears. Another successful one there for Carmel. Carmel 2 for 3 right now on their clears. HSE 1 for 2. And getting it now is Jake Klein. Klein second on the team in points, but leader in assists. top. Here's Matthew Rogers. Matthew Rogers, a low player. And he loses this one. Good checks all around and a nice kick by DeSplinter. And the All-American picks it up. And he'll start the possession for HSE. But surrounded by a few Greyhounds. Getting it in nicely. Here's a chance. Michael Mataliano weaving it in and out. Shot. That one goes wide from Logan Askins. But Ethan Hall with a beautiful hustle to gain that one and get the possession for the Greyhounds.
Boy, Logan had a really good look, though, didn't he? I know his momentum kind of carried him a little bit to his right, but he was awful close.
Back over to Hall.
I don't know if, how you can explain this better than I can. How difficult is that to keep that ball in the basket like that and still control it?
It's more of a matter of just your rhythm, right?
Really?
Yeah. And we can discuss more of that. Timeout for Carmel. You're watching the IHSLA 2A Championship on IndianaSRN. Back to Hamilton Southeastern. Joey Lindstrom with you along with Troy Darengowski. Get to see the replay of this no goal for HSE. Ended up not benefiting them at all after the man-up opportunity, Troy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate right there that they couldn't get that one to count because of the penalty and such, but still, I don't remember we're about a minute 15 away from the end of the first quarter. Do you remember the last time Hamilton Southeastern team was shut out in the first quarter? I don't know if we have a box score on that, but I bet it's been a while.
I don't know, but I'll have to deep in the archives. Here's Kyle Fedorcha. He'll get the possession started for Carmel. Hey, Empire Lacrosse is your source for all things lacrosse. Established in 2004, mission is to be recognized as a leader in our industry by offering excellent service, competitive pricing, and exceptional playing opportunities. You have everything you need at EmpireLax.com. Here's Matthew Rogers back up top. That one getting away from Klein and turning it over. Junior to junior connection not working on that play.
Yeah, pass a little bit high and a little bit behind the intended receiver on that one. Again, we talk about the errors that are happening. You just don't see it that often. And so it's accentuated a little bit when you have two good teams going together like this. Loose ball again.
Losing again, but successfully clearing. Here's a chance for Mataliano. There's a flag down. And I think there's another broken stick. I heard a rumor that we might actually have a fun fact about broken sticks in the tournament from our sideline reporter.
Hey guys, how you doing? Of the 5 games we've done, that's stick number 9 that has been broken. I think Troy broke like 3 or 4 of them when he tried warming up later on this morning, and they got all the sticks away from him. But sticks are broken, and that's got to be pretty aggressive, Joey. You played this game. Those are built pretty stout, aren't they?
Mostly titanium. I guess Troy was trying to learn how to cradle, and that.
Yeah, well, Joey was trying to tell me how to do it, and I just kept hitting it into the ground. It didn't make any sense.
So here's Matheny back around and moving it. Is HSE looking for their first goal, and they find it. Hello. With 9 seconds to go, Connor Runo finds the back of the net for the Royals.
Boy, that was one of those deep shots from long range. Take a look at this and how far he is away from the goal here. This is impressive. Wide open, too.
Nice skip pass. Back behind by Sunling. Beautiful shot.
I'm going to ask you a question. Aren't there some leagues that give you 2 points for a shot that's out further?
Yes, if there's a second arc in the Premier Lacrosse League, they have a 2-point shot.
Okay.
But that's only professional, not high school or
college. They
or
should give him 2 anyway on that one.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Fiery. That's going to do it for our first quarter. We are tied 1-1. You are watching IHSLA 2A Championship on IndianaSRN.
A sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern. Joey Lindstrom and Troy Darengowski with you. Take a second to remind you we are brought to you by Express Lacrosse, established in Long Island. There's a lot of controversy with that. Over 25 years ago, is the most renowned lacrosse club in the United States. Express directors, coaches, and alumni are respected nationwide because of their ability to lead, train, develop outstanding student athletes. As a founding member of the National Lacrosse Federation, Long Island Express and its affiliates provide opportunities for their players to compete with and against the best in the game. Midwest Express, part of the esteemed Long Island Express family, was established right here in Indiana to offer highly competitive student athletes in the Midwest an opportunity to strive for their personal best. With access to the most selective tournaments in the country, players in the Midwest now have a level playing field with the traditional hotbed areas out there in the East. Attend our tryouts August 21st and August 22nd for your chance to be the best. And of course, our second quarter brought to you by True Lacrosse Indiana, proudly supporting the IHSLA, Indiana's premier travel lacrosse team, fielding teams from under 8 years old to seniors in high school. Get more information today, 317-727-6048.
Hamilton Southeastern ended up winning the face-off there.
And
but they ended up
losing
it.
Lose that, and Carmel will begin their clear. Almost tossing it out, but recovering nicely was Fedorcha.
Yeah, Ryan Kemp had a good beat on that. He was just a little bit short of getting a takeaway there close to midfield. You got to be impressed. Both defenses have played well. Shots on goal have not been at a premium so far here today. You're looking at 1-1 in the second period. This may end up being another one of those 6-4, 6-5 type games.
We had one of those in the 1A state championship. It was just a defensive battle because both these teams knew exactly the offensive prowess they were up against. It seems to be the same kind of complexion here. Getting crunched in between two defenders was Jake Klein. Nice play by the Hamilton Southeastern defense. Picking it up, though, in transition was Meade Hicks.
Yeah, good job by Hicks. He stayed right with it, hustled all the way to get that loose ball and give Carmel another possession. I like players who just don't give up on a play.
Rogers losing it after a beautiful check by Aiden Honer. Boy, this kid is playing out of his mind in this first half. Fast break stopped by Carmel. Nicely done. And a deflection picked up by Matheny. HSE will take a breather, get a couple of subs on.
Yeah, Quincy Gracie, I think he was the one that was cutting down the middle of the field, and I think we were really trying to get it to him. Unfortunately, a good deflection. Again, you see how that takes you out of the offensive flow when you get those deflections.
Here's Matheny. Good move to get there and gets behind X. On the doorstep, though, again is Connor Runo.
Wow, that was just good, crisp passing all the way around. That was an incredible look right there.
What a goal. I hear Keith has a word for us.
I tell you what, fellas, the crowd here at Hamilton Southeastern right underneath them, and they are loud. They got that lead 2-1, and I think what you said, Troy, get them relaxed, get your legs, and I think this crowd could help them with one or two goals. both crowds are on hand tonight. Capacity in here with all the tickets that were allowed to be sold. We are sold out, and welcome to our broadcast because this is the only way you can watch it.
That's right. Another face-off win here by Lemieux. He's 4 for 4. This one could be a quick goal opportunity, but nice defense from Carmel in transition. But Sundling paints the top corner. Wow. Loud and Sundling and HSE take a 2-goal lead.
Well, not only did he catch it off to the left, he was able to transition, cradle that ball, and look at this, still get a great shot off. This is excellent quickness and ball control.
Almost as if he crow-hopped and switched hands in one motion. That was really impressive.
Yeah, excellent coordination. Might be the shot of the day so far.
HSE they started out a bit slow, but since 9 seconds to go in the first quarter, 3 goals. Here's Carmel taking it behind X is number 32. That is Zach Arbuckle. They'll begin their possession. Good work by Arbuckle to get that one all the way down there.
You know, you said earlier about defense wins championships, and I think that is so true, and you might see that here today. Hamilton Southeastern now holding Carmel to just the 1 goal so far, and then now they have that momentum swinging back and forth.
Up top, here's John Kenny. And you're right, Troy. Defense certainly did win the championship earlier today, and now we're seeing it already. The impact that each of these squads have on defense. HSE's number 1 ranked defense in the state, and Carmel number 2.
Well, and if you're Crackler, you're feeling, hey, listen, we've got a 2-goal lead, no time to relax, but it takes a little bit of the pressure off him as well. I don't know if you take some extra chances just with a 2-goal lead, but I do relax a little bit more.
Well, across the game of infinite runs, right? It's always the pendulum. It's always going to go back and forth, back and forth. This one gets away off a nice check by Quincy Grace on the butt of the stick there of Will Sprates.
Well, if you're Carmel, though, you don't want this to get a whole lot bigger. I don't know how well they play from behind. Maybe they're very good at it. I've not seen them enough. But one thing, you just don't want to get into a hole to a high-scoring team like Hamilton Southeastern.
Here's Evan Wang. He is a highly touted defender out of the pure defenseman, minus Ty DeSplinter's efforts as a long stick midi. Evan Wang, 27 cross turnovers on the year. Timeout, Hamilton Southeastern after they get the possession. We're going to take a quick break with them. You're watching the 2A championship on IndianaSRN.
The Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Because land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a deer. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Back at Hamilton Southeastern, Keith Myers, the coach, on the sidelines. The officials are right now measuring the sticks, making sure they're the right measurements, make sure they got the nets right, because Joey used to, he kind of slide when he used to play. Also, if you want to get a hold of us, you can tweet us at IndianaSRN. A lot of people listening to the ball game. And, Joey, some people remember your playing days where you spent a lot of time on the bench. Can you relay us about that?
I don't know who's watching that remembers that, but okay.
Hey, listen, he was right on one thing, because you already admitted earlier you kind of skipped the rules a couple of times with the pads and everything. So
maybe I spent a good amount of time in the penalty box, and
so now you admit that this time.
I was a football player given a lacrosse stick, so
but I remember asking you, did you spend time in the penalty box? No, I didn't do that. All of a sudden, the truth is out, isn't it? Apparently some other people know about you, too. So
everybody's a critic. Well, here we go. HSE gathers again, and up 3-1 now, Troy, and 7:40 to play in the half. They're leading the face-off battle. They have not lost a face-off yet. That ball goes outside of the cage. And Carmel ideally would like to get a goal, within the next minute here or so, but it's not super vital. Do you think you want to feel out more your opponent, or what do you think? From a coaching perspective.
I would think right now, listen, just take it easy. It's only 3-1, and it's easy for me to say sitting up here because I've never lost a game in the broadcast booth, but don't panic. You have too good of a team to panic and worry about that right now. Cut down on some of the mistakes and make sure you get some quality possessions so you can get an opportunity to score.
Number 3, Chase Arbuckle with the hold, and that is just a minor penalty, so it's a stoppage and a change of possession. I agree with you, Troy. There's a lot to be said about the runs in lacrosse, and you got to make sure you keep a cool head. Just because you're down does not mean you're out. Nice save by Ethan Hall. That's why he's an All-American. And flag on the play. Looks like a legal procedure of some kind. Let's see that save again.
Boy, quickness right there, isn't it? From high-low.
That bounce was coming in hot.
Yeah.
So it looks like there was a substitution error on Carmel, and it was an illegal procedure. So he came in, went back out, and essentially created a muddled offsides. And so that would be a technical penalty, technical foul, and it's 30 seconds.
So now you're man up right here. Great opportunity. And if you can stop this, it'd be a huge momentum builder for Carmel.
That one had some heat behind it. Ryan Kemp's shot had some bad intentions, and that one goes wide of the cage.
Okay, now you got to be truthful with me again. Do you hear whizzing on the ball if it comes by your head? I mean, you'd almost have to that fast.
You have to. It's made of cement and rubber, so maybe not quite a whistle. If there's a hole in it, maybe on it. Sunling at the doorstep. Dunks it home. And Loudon Sunling, with no goals last game, gets 2 in this first half.
Well, you're man up. You had the advantage right there, and, you've got to take advantage of those opportunities when they come your way, especially in a tight championship game like this, and that's what Hamilton Southeastern did right there. That was a great play.
And, Troy, nobody came back to defend Sunling. He had a free lane to the crease.
Yeah, that in defense, boy, I tell you what, we could look back at some of the games we saw earlier today. Those defenders didn't stay in tight enough, not help your goalie, and that's exactly what happened there. You got to pick him up earlier.
Lemieux hasn't lost a face-off, and he still hasn't yet. And Hamilton Southeastern will begin their possession successfully after that face-off. Max Blackburn taking it behind the cage.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about the face-off. Why is it some players are so successful? Is it anticipation? What is it?
I think it's anticipation, truthfully. Like, you don't know when that whistle's coming. Sometimes it's just a guess, and that's why you see face-off violations or, guys jumping early on the line or what have you.
Yeah, that could be too. Yeah. Your anticipation, reflexes, it's kind of like in the starting gate when you're ready to sprint. You got to be ready for the gun and not too early. Not that I knew how to, but I watched a lot of them.
Big turnover here. Chance for Garrett Smith on the doorstep. Actually, that was E.J. Reichert. Beg your pardon, E.J. He gets pushed into the crease. I believe this might be a cross-check.
Yeah, Mason Bardwell was the one who caught him coming around the right side of the goal, and he nailed him.
Sure is a cross-check, so another man-up opportunity for the team that is the best in the state at it. Look at this turnover, too, Troy.
Oh, that is crazy, too. Oh, boy, you hate to see this if you're Carmel, because here's 2 in a row. As you said, they're the best at it in the state. When HSC is up a man, you're playing to their strength when you make those mistakes.
So here we go. The Royals have Runo in the center of that little man down box and one. Sunling tossing it over to his man, Ryan Kemp. That ball gets deflected and picked up by All-American Jack Huntington.
Well, that's big for Carmel right there. It was fun watching Carmel defensively when the ball went on the strong side, how that backside defender was dropping down and keeping his head on a swivel just to make sure nobody was going to sneak in on the weak side. They played that perfectly.
Giving Ethan Hall a lot of trouble. They have a little bit of time, but they need to get this ball back over midfield. Not enough time, apparently. That's a failure to advance. Could not get it. A great ride by Hamilton Southeastern. DeSplinter maybe thought about it. So here is Garrett Smith back behind the cage. He'll toss it over to his buddy E.J. Reichert.
You know, you talk about that advance and the time they have. It kind of reminds me in, college basketball or even in high school basketball, you got to really do clock management. You got to know instinctively you got to get moving. You can't wait a long time.
Back up top, here's Bruno. And the legs, too. How does it affect a team when it is hot out, even for the evening, and you have guys that constantly play, right? And all this Hamilton Southeastern team is deep. They only play a certain number of guys on offense. That kind of has to have a little bit of attrition, no?
Well, and you find a way to sneak a rest in.
What a sneaky play. Speaking of sneaking, Blaine Wirtz. And it increases the lead to 4.
You get in that lane, and somebody's got to stop him. I mean, there's got to be somebody. Defense. You go get him.
There has to be a hot slide. Coach Keith Myers.
5 unanswered goals by Hamilton Southeastern fellas, and I tell you what, they're setting up really, really pretty. Remind you, we're going to have halftime guests. Mark from Midwest Express will be joining us at halftime.
Love it. One of our great sponsors, Midwest Express.
Yeah, I love it when the sponsors step up and really promote the game of lacrosse. And I tell you what, if you talk about an atmosphere as we have already, and you've been in championship situations, we got a timeout. I'll let you take it here, but it's great to have them because the fans are really coming out in force.
We'll hit it again on the way back. Timeout by HSC. You're watching the 2A Championship on IndianaSRN.
Greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group as an intern. I interned for 3 years before going on full-time staff here. What I love most about Morales Group is that big family aspect. I come from a big family in Mexico, and since the company is continuously growing, I feel like there's always a new member of the family that I get to know.
We're willing to give. We're willing to serve others, and we're not expecting something in return.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
Welcome back to HSC. We're playing a little Where's Waldo type, but it's Where's Coach? Where's Coach Keith Myers in the stands? We got a packed crowd, sold out 1,200 people. Keith, where are you?
You can't find me because I'm not even in those stands. I'm on my way up to you guys. I stopped by the concession stand, got my Fritos and my popcorn and my Coke. I'm ready for the second half, but I'll be up for my halftime guest.
You're all those snacks, you're going to be really awfully thirsty to get the.
It's not going to be like Chance, who ate 5 sandwiches and 2 Cokes and an ice cream because Jerry said so.
our cameraman Chance, but he did benefit when Jerry said, I'll get you an ice cream. Yeah, for sure.
Well, he wanted more, too, by the way.
Here we go. Loudon Sunling gets checked away by number 7, Brannick Arbuckle. Nice play by Brannick. But a loose ball push on Carmel before that ball was turned over.
Well, Coach Meacham did not like that call. You could see his expression down there on the sidelines, looking at the official with his arms stretched out, that he didn't like it at all. So, and I don't blame him because you had some momentum heading back the other way, and you need a goal here before halftime.
Both these coaches, we talked to them on the field before the game. Their intensity was just crazy. I mean, it's you love to play for a guy like that who's so intent on helping his team win.
Well, and they're so focused that when you walk up to them, they're almost in a daze because that's all they're thinking about, not thinking about talking to the media.
Right, yeah, exactly. Sunling, shot. Oh, my goodness. Loudon Sunling with a first-half hat trick.
Now, I remind you that this is happening against an All-American like Ethan Hall. That is impressive. Just everything has swung their way. Take a look at this again. Well, I tell you what, you're talking about 20 yards out and his momentum going to the right, and he's having to shoot a little bit at an angle back to his left. That was impressive.
Winning it again was Lemieux. He's been on fire today.
Well, now if you're Carmel, you've got 2 minutes. You cannot give up another one, because then everything's rolling Hamilton Southeastern's way on their turf, by the way.
What a sweeping goal! Brought the broom out. Number 7, Michael Mataliano. Wow.
Floodgates are open now.
Yeah, they are.
And right now, Carmel's trying to plug all the holes in the dike, and they can't quite seem to find the way to do it. Look at this play again.
Coach Keith Myers, from your vantage point, what'd you see?
I tell you what, the goal, I can't even put the goal over my head, the ball over my head, him just like a softball. Hey, fellas, though, this Carmel team, very well coached, and they've been here before. They will not give up. I guarantee you, halftime speech will test their character. So this game is long from over, as you know, Troy.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of things have happened.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Until there's a lot of zeros on that time, it doesn't matter, because we've seen it today, how things can change quickly.
Carmel, their state appearances over the last 6 years, 2015, 2016, and 2017. Lost twice to Cathedral, but they were victorious once, and that was in 2015. Here's Matheny. Trying to look for his inside outlet. Shot. That one hits the ankle of his buddy, E.J. Reichert. Reichert gets their first good hustle by Ethan Hall.
You know, it's true. Anything can happen if you can get just maybe that first goal to get you back on the right side of things. But the other thing is, you've got to get stops, because Hamilton Southeastern, they're not feeling sorry for anybody right now.
Underhand pass to Ryan Kemp. Thought he was going to shoot it. He does, though, the second try off the post.
Yeah, that was within inches of making it goal number 8. They got a really good look again. And I think this puts a little more pressure on the Carmel defenders. They got to find a way to get that ball back in transition. And we only have a minute to go, but it'd be huge if they got a goal right here.
Carmel scoreless since the 6th minute of the first quarter.
Yeah, you'd be 18 straight minutes then without putting something on the board.
Don't you think the HSC defense has turned it up a notch, too?
Yeah, because you know what, not to use this terminology too much, but it's kind of like, they smell blood. They're like that tiger that's after that loose animal, and boy, once they make that wound, they just keep coming at you. And they know, too, that it's going their way, and there's no sense, they don't want to give up a late goal here at the end of the first half.
20 seconds to go in the half. Jake Klein with the ball. Defended hard by Grace. He passes it up, back up to Fedorcha. 10 seconds to go. HSC might need a slide here. Fedorcha falling down, saved by Kreckler. Gets it up to DeSplinter. HSC will wind out the clock. Another successful clear to finish out the half. What a second quarter for Hamilton Southeastern. We were tied 1-1. It is 7-1 now. Do not go anywhere. We have a wonderful halftime show and an interview courtesy of Coach Keith Myers. You are watching the 2A Lacrosse State Championship on IndianaSRN.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
This is a great path because all you have to do is know how to work with your hands. And you can learn that on the job every day.
There's some self-satisfaction in building a building and driving by it for the next 30 years and telling your children that you built that building.
I have a pension and I have job security.
In fact, you actually make money while you're going to school.
College might be for some people. College is definitely not for me.
Having that stability has really changed my life.
Hi. I'm Matt Wolford, president of the IHSLA Foundation, and we need your help. We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to IHSLAFoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSLA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
Back at halftime, the score 7-1. A game, I tell you what, a great game. Keith Myers here with Mark. He's from Midwest Express. And Mark, you've been involved in this lacrosse for years. It's been a great day. Talk a little bit about Midwest, and then let's talk about the game itself. It's been healthy today.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Keith, and to SRN for providing this coverage. This is such a tremendous event to cap a tremendous weekend. Obviously, we lost lacrosse last year to things out of our control, and they call lacrosse the medicine game. It's good to have it back, and it's great to be partners with you guys to help us bring it back and to grow this. And so a little bit about Midwest Express. So we are just launched a little less than 2 years ago, so we're about to embark on our second summer. But our roots go way back. We're part of the Long Island Express family, which is one of the longest, largest boys club programs in the U.S. and certainly the most renowned. And so we had a shared goal to grow it here in the Midwest and a vision to do it in a way that is done in the hotbed areas like New York and Maryland and try to bring that platform here. So we're real excited. We've got about 200 boys in our program, grades 3 through 12, many of which are out here playing today in these state finals. And I think it provides a platform for these players that they didn't previously have in the Midwest, and we're excited about that.
Talk a little bit about the high school. You guys are involved with the high school league. The lacrosse board of directors many years ago wanted high schools to have a league, yes, be a school league and the club league. You stay away from everything until the tournament is over, which I think is really kind of cool. Helps the sport grow even more.
Yeah.
But talk about the tournament and your guys' role with the tournament. I know you've done a couple of sponsorships for us to get us on the air. That helps us, and
yes,
that also helps the team.
Yes. No, there's a lot of overlap, without question, between there's at the end of the day, there's not a lot of coaches out here, and there's not a lot of Midwest Express or Midwest expertise here, so we're trying to change that. And so we leverage, for instance, coaches like Scott Beasley, who's the head coach for HSE. He's one of our coaches, and without question, one of the best coaches in the state of Indiana and the Midwest. And so we're able to help his kids realize some of their goals in the game of lacrosse if they want to play at the next level. But at the same time, we're able to raise his profile and HSE lacrosse profile. So and the same is true for the board members. And so
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about IndianaSRN, our affiliation.
Yes.
This is our third year doing this. We missed last year. We did a radio broadcast 5 years ago just to get our feet wet. But tell the fans out there how that has exploded with our coverage and our Twitter coverage. As you even said, 25,000 people logged on our Twitter account this week, just this week, to see what's going on. Talk about that. How important is that?
Yeah, no, the social media is the way of the future. Obviously, it's the way of the present and the future, and the growth of the sport has a similar trajectory. There's no question that lacrosse is the fastest growing sport in the U.S., and I attribute that to coverage and partnerships that we have with SRN and just the nature of the sport itself. It's a confluence of other sports that really brings it all together from a creativity and fun and end-to-end action that few other sports offer.
And folks, let me tell you, we're going to get more involved. As you have mentioned that you want us involved, we want you involved.
Yes.
Real quick, put your coaches on, Cap, real quick. What do you do? You're down 7. What do you tell your kids?
You know, it's going to start at the face-off X. HSE has dominated the face-off X. Jake Lemieux's done a great job. The wings have come in and gotten the ball. That's where it's got to start for Carmel, and then from there they got to get some offensive possessions where they don't turn the ball over.
Mark, thank you so much.
So
appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
We'll be back with the guys right after this.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
It's 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. You have two choices. Option 1, take 2 nanoseconds to reach over and put on your seatbelt. Or option 2, decide it's too much work for a Saturday and don't put on your seatbelt. As the seatbelt alarm continues to sing the song of its people, you roll your eyes. You're just going down the block, you'll be fine. You take a turn to the left, and that's when you see it.
Just wear your seatbelt. It's an easy way to save your own life. The Indiana Criminal Justice Institute wants to remind you that choices matter. Click it to live it.
Why do more graduating seniors choose Ivy Tech Community College over any other school? Ivy Tech offers flexibility, a wide variety of programs, and thousands of classes, including online options. Our certificates and degrees get students into a great career quickly. And if you want an affordable path to a bachelor's degree, we have guaranteed admissions programs with most four-year universities in Indiana. So you can start at Ivy Tech and transfer as a junior. Ready for a great education at the lowest cost? Complete a free application today.
In addition to Pacers basketball, my family's a big fan of 2 things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted Walter to join Bailey, he too gets his bowl of water right from our Connecticut K5 drinking water station. We take our water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system. Improve your water like we do. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for your free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern, getting ready for the second half. Joey Lindstrom and Troy Darengowski getting set after some plays like this, Troy, that really got the Royals going. A broom sweep into the goal by Metallion.
Yeah, they've done some incredible things, especially when they fell down early and then they came back once they got rolling. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Getting ready for this second half, brought to you by Express Lacrosse. Just heard from him, established on Long Island over 25 years ago as the most renowned lacrosse club in the United States. Their directors, coaches, and alumni are respected nationwide because of their ability to lead, train, and develop outstanding student athletes. As a founding member of the National Lacrosse Federation, Long Island Express and its affiliates provide opportunities for their players to compete with and against the best in the game. Midwest Express, part of the esteemed Long Island Express family, was established right here in Indiana to offer highly competitive student athletes in the Midwest an opportunity to strive for their personal best With access to the most selective tournaments in the country, players in the Midwest now have a level playing field with the traditional hotbeds. Attend their tryouts August 21st and 22nd for your chance to be the best.
Carmel able to get the quick whistle off of that face-off, so they'll have possession first off here in this third quarter. Now, we always talk about the beginning and the end of a quarter. I think Carmel needs to get off to a fast start right here and get something really early and try to get something back in their favor.
We talked about the runs of Lacrosse, and Troy, you definitely touched on it. The last goal for Hamilton Southeastern at the end of the first quarter set them on, they snowballed into 6 more goals after that.
Yeah, and it was just, there was nothing that, well, there's a nice goal right there, huh?
Matthew Rogers trickles that one in and puts Carmel on the board, so could be just what the Greyhounds needed to start this half.
That ball just seemed like it kind of rolled. We may see it here again in a moment. It just kind of rolled into the goal. Take a look here.
Wide angle shot. It actually went off the foot of Kreckler.
Well, let me go back. A couple of statistics that you brought up at halftime. Clears both teams in the first half were 5 of 8, and then the face-offs, Hamilton Southeastern 8 and Carmel 1. So that was
just
really big.
Staggering,
isn't it? And I imagine most of that happened in that second quarter.
Well, Carmel they got the violation, so that's a win, and they also just got this win from Zach Arbuckle.
As we mentioned, momentum, it started now. Carmel kind of feels a little bit. They got that second goal. They have the ball back. A flag is down. Another opportunity right here for the Greyhounds.
And when that ball is possessed again by Hamilton Southeastern, the penalty will ensue, so Carmel could get a chance to score and add a penalty, as this could be, as it won't be released, I don't believe. Here's Fedorcha. Double team very briefly.
One thing about that Hamilton Southeastern defense, they don't give you a whole lot of room to operate at all.
They sure don't. They've been playing out of their minds. Honer and Wang. This one trickling out of bounds, so we'll get to see what the penalty is here. Offsides is the signal the official has given. On Hamilton Southeastern. So, tough break for the Royals. They'll be man down after giving up a goal.
Well, and now the thing is still, you're in good shape. 7-3, but it did get to that point being a man down, but you got a good guy right there in the cage. You're going to have to do something really special right here to score a lot on him. But again, if you swing it to the other side, here's that golden opportunity now for Carmel.
Carmel working around. We talked about the man-up opportunities for each team. Hamilton Southeastern leads the state. Carmel a close second. That one ripped away, and that time Kreckler's foot. A benefactor for the save. Getting away from him on that pass. Crossing over. But this one over the line, that's an interference.
I thought that was
offsides, actually.
Kyle Brenner, wasn't it? Number 8 for Hamilton Southeastern. I think he'd stepped over. He might have been the guilty party.
I think he was, but regardless, even on the man down opportunity, now you're at even strength again. Thankfully for Hamilton Southeastern. Wang defending Rogers.
When you're able to kill or what you would consider a power play like that, if you're Hamilton Southeastern and able to stop Carmel from doing anything when you're a man down. And again, they've been in a situation before. I don't doubt any bit whatsoever that they had a whole lot of worries about it other than surviving the length of the penalty and get back to full strength.
Chance here for Carmel. That's Klein. He's getting double teamed. Great hot slides by Hamilton Southeastern. It pays off. Trying to get it back again is Fedorcha.
Well, I tell you what, I love the Royals defense. They just keep coming at you no matter what. Even if you're down a man, they come at you. It's just relentless. I don't know how many shots on goal that Carmel has had in this game to this point, but they just don't get as many looks.
Rogers was trying to full send across the crease. That one, he loses it on the way.
But you saw, and again, as well as you know the game, how quickly that lane collapsed.
Wirtz, who had the hockey-type goal earlier, trying to get it back up to Runo. Runo picking it up, and we'll start this possession for Hamilton Southeastern after a successful clear.
The Carmel right here, don't want to give up another goal. A lot of time to be played, but you just got one back. Love to see your offense get back in gear once again and try to swing something back their way.
How important is it, too, to have that momentum, not to cut you off? Have that.
No.
I mean, you get a one goal, and how quickly do you need to score in general?
Yeah, and you're right. I think you need to do it not quickly, but you need to get something back on the board because I don't think you're going to shut this Hamilton Southeastern team out the rest of the way. But, they can be a lot more patient. They can run 40, 50 seconds off the clock now.
Wirtz defended hard by All-American defender Jack Huntington. He passes it off back out to Metaliano. Smith tried to get it back to Metaliano, and that'll be a turnover for the Royals.
See, and that's one of those mistakes, kind of an unforced error right there. There was nobody that was going to challenge that, so just take your time and make a good pass.
Here's Ethan Hall. Despite giving up 6 in the second quarter, he's got quite a few saves. 6 saves to his credit so far.
See, here's where the Royals extend everybody. No freebies right here. They're going to make sure the Carmel's going to work for everything they get on offense.
Blackburn defending, and a nice save by Kreckler. He does lose it out of the crease, though. Nobody from Carmel home to try to go get that one, though, and Wang will pick it up.
That kind of reminded me of teams that shoot the basketball and everybody goes back on defense instead going for an offensive rebound. Keith's helicopter is ready to land, I see.
Oh, okay. Horner had passed over to number 24, Nolan Canese, and it gets kicked around all the way into the stick of E.J. Reichert. So the Royals up by 5 goals halfway through the third quarter.
I got the AD from.
Let's get down to Keith Myers, who's got the AD of Hamilton Southeastern.
Jim Self with this, and Jim, great crowd on hand. Got to be really happy with the crowd. A sellout crowd with all the tickets that you could sell today.
Yeah, what a blessing. It's just nice to see high school sports. These kids deserve it. Their families deserve it. This time last year, didn't have that opportunity. So we're excited to host and excited for this crowd, that's for sure.
You had graduation today. I saw you take off your tie when you got here. You say it's finally done. Now you can sit back and enjoy it. But, boy, you guys have been a great host, and thank you so much for letting IndianaSRN hang out with you guys the last couple of days.
Very thankful to have you. It's really good for high school athletics, and today I got to be a dad and watch my last one graduate. So now it's time to cheer on the Royals to a lacrosse state championship.
And I see a tear in his eyes, guys, because college is coming, and he knows what that means. Back up to you guys.
There goes the savings account. Is that what it is?
Chance here at the top for Ryan Kemp. But there's a penalty flag forthcoming. Get to see what it is. Official, middle of your screen, walking over.
That is bittersweet when you think that you're graduating a son or a daughter, and then all of a sudden you're thinking they're going to that next level and that you got to start digging in that pocket a little bit more, and the savings account isn't quite what it was.
I won't have to know what that's like for a long time.
Well, believe me, it's coming, so get ready. Start saving your money now.
Up top, here's Sunling. Again, here's Matheny. Back to Sunling behind the cage. That shot goes a little too wide.
Yeah, that was a great stick check out front. Give credit right there to Brannick Arbuckle.
Back behind, here's Sunling again. Sunling trying to find some space. He gets swarmed by a pack of Greyhounds, and that one goes over the top of Ethan Hall's head and stick.
How about John Kenny? He laid the hurt. That time on Hamilton Southeastern player, but they come back and score.
What a move to get open. Garrett Smith dunks it home, and Hamilton Southeastern extends their lead to 6.
Boy, he came in from that left alley. You're probably going to see it here in a moment. Just watch how he slides in. This is, again, good offense, so it was forced outside. There he is.
Matheny finding Smith to the right side of Hall. Chopping it up, and it is 8-2.
You know, both these teams are going to have several of these players back next year. Don't be too surprised if they're right back at the state championship game next year.
Well, the top 4 we had were all in the state championships over the last 5 years.
No kidding.
And, you know, obviously subtract 2020 from the equation, no state championship. You have Carmel, you have HSE, you have Cathedral, and you have Culver.
Wow. Well, when you have established programs now and they have, you know, success breeds success, you just keep doing it. It's kind of like reloading.
Timeout for the Greyhounds of Carmel High School. We're going to take a break. You're watching the IHSLA 2A state championship on IndianaSRN.
Looking for a great family experience? Well, look no further than Indy's best campground, KOA Indianapolis. RV sites, tents, cabins, and glamping is just minutes away. The kids will love the new splash park, horses, and summer activities. Whether you're roasting marshmallows around the campfire for gooey s'mores, enjoying our amazing pizza delivered to your site, or hand-dipped ice cream. Don't forget to visit our gift shop boutique where you'll find supplies of all your gift and camping needs. Go on KOA.com to book or call us at 317-894-1397. Mention IndianaSRN for a free bundle of fireworks.
Back at Hamilton Southeastern with the score 8-2. Follow up, guys. Lydia's self, Jim's daughter, is going to play Division I soccer at Eastern Kentucky. So he knows about Division I athletes. He also knows how athletes have performed. These kids have worked so hard. The pandemic, and I'm talking about everybody that played in this tournament. Hats off to every single parent, athletic director, administration, players. Hats off to you. We did it. We're getting through the season, and it's been a great day. I cannot wait. 5-6 years from now, looking back at this is going to be a great time. And I hope you guys are with me because I know Jerry's going to be with us. And Chance is going to be with us because he's got to have the ice cream. Back up to you guys.
Jerry, our producer, and Chance, our cameraman. Jerry makes it all happen. Stoppage here. Looks like just an area that they needed to start in a different place. So just a quick reset, no penalty.
If I may, Chance, he likes it because it's free.
That's right.
No wonder he's going to be back.
That one gets past Kreckler, it looks like. It sure does. That goal by number 10, Will Sprates.
Well, and he hurt his right leg ankle, so they're going to help him off the field.
So Will Sprates gets that one to go. Looks like he might be coming off a little shaken up. Good left-hander. He gets the 5-hole of Kreckler.
You know, he did not get hurt on the shot. He got hurt when he got behind the cage and kind of stepped a little bit awkward. And it kind of, I think, took all the excitement out of the goal itself because everybody was just kind of wondering what happened right there.
I certainly hope he's okay. Zane Smith taking the faceoffs for Hamilton Southeastern, and a violation by Carmel will give that ball back to the Royals. So 8-3 our score, 3:35 to go in our third quarter.
You know, time will be that factor eventually. Not till we get into the fourth quarter, because you're going to see Hamilton Southeastern really play, not conservative, but they're going to play really smart and try to keep possessions as long as they can. That's why I am for a shot clock in high school lacrosse and basketball.
Makes it go a lot faster and creates more opportunities. There's a boo from our former coach, Keith Myers.
I don't hear a cheer yet. Come on, guys, be progressive. Let's go.
I like it.
Yeah, see?
There's a dodge up top from Logan Askins. Gets it over to Garrett Smith. Garrett Smith will take it up the wing. over the 20-yard line, top of your screen.
So you would like to see a shot clock in high school lacrosse?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it gives more action.
Yeah.
Provides a lot more opportunity to score.
You know, and that was the reason why they did in college, right? Because they wanted to get the pace up a little bit more.
Haskins back up top to Tate Metcalf and Sunling. And you mentioned the youth of each of these teams, but the seniors have been really the impact players for Hamilton Southeastern in particular. See their pictures hanging up over there on the fence. And it's a great stadium. That shot going wide, though.
16 of them. I mean, and I go into any sport, you can keep seniors around is a big deal, but 16.
I think that is a it's a factor, obviously, thinking about what Coach Beasley has built here.
Yeah.
And the culture he's created.
You know,
he talks about the we, not me.
Yeah.
You can go back and watch that interview with Coach Keith Myers and Coach Beasley from Wednesday's game when they defeated Culver. No-look pass from Sunling, and on the doorstep, Ethan Hall with a brick wall type of stop.
Yeah, Hall anticipating that one. Great play by the junior from Carmel. Take a look.
What a save.
You know, that shot wasn't more than just a few feet away from him, too. That's great reaction.
Huntington looking for some space to work. He needs to get this touch in the restraining box. Otherwise, Carmel's going to, and they will take a timeout. That's their second timeout. And we will take one with them. You're watching the 2A state championship on IndianaSRN. You heard from him at halftime. Empire Lacrosse, your source for all things lacrosse. Established in 2004, our mission is to be recognized as a leader in our industry by offering excellent service, competitive pricing, and exceptional playing opportunities. From individual sales to team outfitting, leagues and tournaments, Empire Lacrosse is everything you need to look good, feel good, and play great. Visit EmpireLax.com. Get to see this last goal once again. Getting behind Kreckler. That shot by Will Sprates. And he got it right between the legs, but he did hurt his leg on that play, Troy, unfortunately for Carmel.
You know, it almost looked like the goalkeeper was just frozen. He didn't even see it come out of the stick at all.
Back up top, Carmel needs to make some quick work. Here's Fedorcha, and he'll take his time. 1 minute to go in our third quarter. Carmel desperately needs to make a run here if they want a chance in the next 12 minutes.
Yeah, I think this possession right now is huge. Even if I think they'd love to score, yes, but I think they got to find something positive here to get that message into the fourth period.
Fedorcha's just going to wait it out. Open set here for Carmel. One man behind the cage. Fedorcha's going to begin his dodge. Over against Kyle Brenner. Kyle Brenner gets the early slide. Fedorcha's going to take the shot. It got hit, something in front hit that shot, and it went wide. But luckily for Carmel, Matthew Rogers is there. 25 seconds to go. Rogers makes some move. Some spicy footwork, and he gets that one to go past Kreckler's face mask.
Well, that's big right there. In fact, it happened so quickly, I think most of us were kind of wondering if the ball hit the side of the net. We'll get a look at it right here.
It certainly appeared that way from that angle. Good hustle play by Rogers to get back in, and defended by Honer. Just a little dunk there.
That was a great goal, and one they definitely needed, because now you're back in within striking distance.
Face off here. Arbuckle scoop that one out, but it does go to Hamilton Southeastern. Final 10 seconds here. They want to keep possession. Here's Garrett Smith. And he will wind down the rest of the third quarter. At the end of the third quarter, score is 8-4, but we have a special guest, Coach Ayers from the east side, along with Keith Myers.
No, Coach Ayers has been here since, what, about 6 o'clock this morning?
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Congratulations on a win. First game this morning at 10 o'clock. Your team wins the club championship. First time in 6 years. A lot of tears in that program because a lot of hard sweat and tears have made that successful.
Absolutely. It was a huge success for us to just have the opportunity to be here and then to come out with a win against a tough Leo team that put up 183 goals this season. I mean, just the ability for us to hold them to 6 goals with our 19 guys, 60% of our roster, it's amazing. And it just speaks to the guys showing up every day, doing their job, and, good things happen.
Now, you're cutting yourself short because you coached this for a long time as well. Kids love you, and they'll run through walls for you. Tell us how you're building that program and how can kids get back involved if there's no lacrosse in their team and the east side can pick those kids up. How do you get those kids?
Keep an eye out for us on social media. We are slowly building up the program and getting some support from the Cecina Athletic Administration, and we'll have good things to come. There'll definitely be opportunities, especially at the youth level. And then, we'll be building up our high school program to be a contender. Hopefully, we'll play the 7 o'clock game here in a couple years.
And, fellas, he had a Gatorade bath. He had to go home, take a shower. And, by the way, Joey, your absolutely total today is $3.75. Back up to you guys.
Well, I do owe them a lot of quarters for my absolutes. I apologize. Thanks, Coach Ayers, for that great interview, and congratulations as well. Huge win for East Side. Here's Titus Splinter. Trying to get the quick shot. It does trickle past the line. And Hamilton Southeastern takes a 5-goal lead, 9-4.
Boy, Ethan Hall, give him credit because he was able to get his stick on it, but then once it came out, it just rolled across. And that's a big goal coming, in fact, within 8 seconds of the beginning of the final period of play.
Unreal play. Titus Splinter gets the goal to go. That is his 3rd goal on the season. Not common for the long pole to get the goals to follow.
You saw one earlier today, too, right? In the last game, yeah.
Yeah, we did. That was a crazy, crazy sequence that actually tied the game with about a minute or so to go.
That's right. Well, you know what? It's Championship Saturday. You can probably know that when you come into this, you might see just about everything. But right now, that was a huge goal again by Hamilton Southeastern. So they get that 1 goal back, and it's back to 5. And that's going to be a timeout.
And we want to take a minute to remind you we're brought to you by True Lacrosse Indiana, proudly supporting the IHSLA, Indiana's premier travel lacrosse team, fielding teams from the age of under 8 to seniors in high school. If you want more information, call 317-727-6048. If you're not already following us on Twitter at IndianaSRN, you can also catch replays of all our action on our YouTube page, IndianaSRN.
I'm going to ask you a question. As a kid, I'm sure when you went to events, you probably played around the area and stuff, whatever sport it may have been. Would I be correct in saying that?
Sure, yeah.
Well, I see kids out here with their helmets on, and they have lacrosse sticks on both ends all around. Now, I know they're probably ball boys and such, but how neat is that to know that as a kid you're able to do that? I remember when I was a kid and I'd go to football games. I wouldn't be sitting in the stands. I'd be down there in the sidelines, and it just takes you back. I just love to see that, the kids getting involved at such a young age.
It really is nice, too, because lacrosse, and if you want to grow the sport, you have to start at a young age as well. And a lot of these kids may, whether or not you started playing when you were 5 years old or you were a freshman in high school, lacrosse is for everybody, and you can learn quickly, and as long as you work at it. But you're right. To your point, it is great to see all the young kids out there, whether or not they're ball boys.
And what an influence these young men are to them, because I remember looking up to those kids and thinking they were bigger than life, and
exactly.
It was amazing.
You don't realize how much of an influence you do have on younger kids when you're that age in high school.
You bet.
Well, these guys are certainly setting the example. Here's Blaine Wirtz, setting a good example of what it is to be a leader and a true competitor. Shot, Renault.
Oh,
that one gets saved by Ethan Hall, and that had some bad intentions behind it.
Boy, no kidding. That if he lets that one go, he might have to visit the dentist here pretty soon. I tell you what, that's a shot that's tough. That's kind of like that line drive that comes in the outfield. It looks like a knuckleball, but it's straight at you, and that was a straight-on shot that Hall did a great job reacting to it. I give these guys credit. Let's go to Coach.
You know, they asked me if I could wear a soccer helmet and a chest protector and a goalie thing, and I said no. That's why, fellas. There's no way. I'd be on the floor. You would have to call a stretcher.
Maybe we could just use like a soft
Nerf ball?
Nerf ball for Keith.
Nothing.
I told Keith what the fastest lacrosse shot in the world was on Wednesday night, and I think he fell over in his chair.
You said it was 100 and what?
119.
Oh, my.
Paul Rabel.
I don't even know that. That kind of reminds me of baseball when those guys are throwing 100-plus. How do you even see it? How can you have any reaction time?
I don't even know. Well, to be fair, his was on a radar gun with no goalie.
Okay.
So it was not in-game action. That would be crazy. Yeah. That would probably put a hole through someone.
You know, but that's still pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah. So here's Carmel. They're trying to get back into it. Under 10 minutes to go. Here's Fedorcha. A little bit of check to the head and a slash on Hamilton Southeastern. Check to the head, in fact. Trying to find that space. Here's Matthew Rogers again. That one goes wide. Kreckler does not worry about it, but Hamilton Southeastern will have to worry for a man-down opportunity here.
Is that Matheny who is trotting off?
It sure is.
Yep.
So Michael Matheny, the senior, will serve his time. 1 minute, check to the head.
You know, if they really want to make that a good penalty box and such, you don't let them have any water.
You want to make it a true learning experience. Easy. Well, luckily the sun has fallen behind the stands, and we have some shade.
You know, we get back to the tough days, players that, didn't need water, just salt pills and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Who cares about their health, right?
Back up top, here's Fedorcha. Losing that one briefly. Trying to find on the doorstep, and painting that corner is Rogers. Matthew Rogers gets himself another goal, and Carmel now, the deficit just 4.
Well, it's back to that thing, striking distance. They got it to 4 before. They're back to 4 now. Now you need to make sure that you don't allow Hamilton Southeastern to get something quickly right here, because then it puts it right back on you to come back and try to get something. And again, with only 9 minutes remaining, every possession is so valuable for this Carmel team.
There's a chance now, another face-off opportunity. Hamilton Southeastern is leading by 7 on the face-off wins, but Carmel only had 1 in the first half, so they've done well in the second. Blackburn picking it up. Nice check as he was running by Charlie Marsh. I beg your pardon.
Now stay in position right here. Don't give up anything easy and quickly if you're Carmel. But the other side, you know that Hamilton Southeastern, back to that clock management. They can run a lot of time off the clock in another possession. And you can see how they're just spreading things out here.
Yeah, Michael Matheny tossing it over. Double correction. That was actually Bryce Cannon that had the original check. 28-29, both defenders. So here we go. Back behind the cage is Ryan Kemp. He's been quiet today. First team All-State. Senior. Here's Bruno. Back over to Wirtz, who also plays running back on the HSC football team. There's a shot in between the knees of Ethan Hall. Great shot by E.J. Reichert.
Well, he had one of those shots where it almost looked like he was going to scoop it in down low.
Yep. That was almost a worm burner.
Is that what they call those? I guess it had
when
to
they trickle down.
Wow.
Great shot.
Yeah, like a golf shot.
So they've reached 10 goals. HSE's average goal differential is 7. Now leading by 5. E.J. Reichert next year headed to West Point.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's something Carmel did not want to happen, giving up. We just mentioned that moments ago. Don't give up a quick one, and they did. So now, if you're Carmel, the deficit is 5. Will there be enough time? That's the question.
Big time turnover results in Loudon Sunling taking that one away. And this failed clear will give Carmel the ball back right away.
Boy, look at Ethan come out of the cage there and get this clear started.
We are back to even strength.
Well, look at that. Look at that defense. I just love the way they play defense.
It sure is nice to watch. They're just getting after the ball. Shot there. Finds the off-stick side. That was Jake Klein.
Well, they're very aggressive. They were doing that 30, 35-yard line, and then once that broke down, you still got to get back and help your goaltender.
Jake Klein is 44th goal on the season, and it is 10-6.
Yeah.
Let's hear from our sideline reporter, Keith Myers.
Coaches keep on telling the Carmel players, put pressure, keep pressure. You got plenty of time. They're not panicking down here. They think they can get this done. They feel they can get this tied before this game is over.
Well, 7:13 remaining. See if they can do just that after a big goal by Klein. Second in points on the team. Great face-off play, but a better check by Ty DeSplinter, the All-American. Picking it up, this ball trickling out. Here is Matheny once again.
Well, that would have been big for Carmel right there to come up with that loose ball.
It sure would have.
You know, it seems like sometimes when they're trying to make the passes and now you're getting this late in the contest that ball gets smaller, does it? Does it feel like it gets smaller? You just can't quite
quite find it. You need to get it back. Go back to Keith Myers.
The sun over here too, guys. When you make that pass, that sun is right in the eyes. You got to be concentrating solely over on this side.
And that's tough for Carmel too because they're on that side. But Hamilton Southeastern doesn't have too much of an issue. Their sideline only getting a little bit of sun.
You know, when Keith mentioned that, I have to go back to quarter number 3 when Ethan Hall was doing the same thing to our right, and he had to look into the sun. Any play that came to his left, it was always sun.
That certainly has a factor throughout the entire game, not only just the end right now. Here's Matheny. That shot ricochets off somebody, picked up by Huntington. Smart play to jump over the crease because once you enter the crease, you cannot come back out with the ball. You'd have to essentially drop the ball in the crease for the goalie to recover.
I think that deflection was Grant Ramsey.
Oh, there you go. Losing it there from some nice defensive work by Honer. Wow. Honer is having an all-state performance today.
Well, let me tell you what, not only did he get the steal, the deflection off of that steal as well, but he was able to scoop it and still keep the possession there for the Royals. And now it's down to about 5 minutes. So, again, I know we keep talking about that clock, but once you're Hamilton Southeastern, you can burn a lot of time, and that lessens the possessions then for Carmel the rest of the way. Boy, if I'm Hamilton Southeastern now, I'm looking to be clean on my passes. Make sure we run through the progression of your offense, whatever you're trying to do. If you find the opening you're looking for, take it. If not, don't force it.
Wirtz finding Kemp, but a great save by Ethan Hall. Huntington working hard on Runo. And HSE is going to use their last timeout. Both teams out of timeouts, 4.5 to go. You're watching the IHSLA 2A state championship on IndianaSRN.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks. Shh, we're trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo!
You see what I did?
Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern. Word from Keith Myers on maybe the strategy Hamilton Southeastern needs to take here.
Well, it was very interesting that Scott Beasley called his players that was on the field, talked to them for about 30 seconds. The other players joined them. The strategy here is you got to be aggressive. And I tell you what, the parents, there are fingernails that are no longer fingernails down here. They're chewing them up. And this crowd, both sides, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun working with you guys, and I can't wait until the last 4.5 minutes.
Here we go. Last 4.5 to go. 10-6, Hamilton Southeastern. They take that last timeout, probably to ensure that they can set up a play and get another goal here. Maybe hopefully be the dagger for them.
Yeah, and being in those huddles, sometimes more just calm down. We're okay.
Yep.
Yeah, forget about that scoreboard right now. Let's just do what we do. Back to that whole thing again. What got you here? And just don't turn the ball over. Keep the possession.
Double teaming Garrett Smith was Jack Huntington as well as number 7, that is Arbuckle. And it paid off. So to your point, Troy, Carmel does a great job actually of stymieing the efforts of the Royals.
I'm going to go back to Huntington, Jack Huntington, who you had mentioned a little bit ago before that timeout. He was instrumental in really breaking up the flow of the Hamilton Southeastern offense in their last possession.
Wirtz is going to get flagged here for that slash on the windup, and that was an interesting call. Disrupting that one briefly was 24. That is Nolan Canese. Somebody gets away with a loose ball push. Canese just tosses this one out of bounds. Another flag, though, following.
This might be actually pretty good for Hamilton Southeastern because that one pass that came right in front of the cage there, Jake Klein, you could tell he was ready to catch and fire, and he would have had a pretty good look right there. So I think it's a good break if you're Hamilton Southeastern.
Maybe breathe that sigh of relief. So Wirtz will serve a penalty. You get to see what it is here. Got to imagine it's a slash. It is 1 minute. And a push with possession.
Well, the Royals now
24 Canese.
Royals have 2 guys over there.
Yep, so they have 4 long poles out there, which is allowed. You're allowed to have 4 long poles at all times, so when you're 2 men down, naturally, you'd want to see all 4 out there.
So now this is back to that golden opportunity if you're Carmel.
Chance shot, that one saved by Kreckler.
Boy, that's great quickness by Kreckler, too. He was able to get that high shot.
Throws a moon ball to the opposite side and gets picked up almost by Garrett Smith. Good defense by 27 Mason Bardwell, and it's picked up. But there's going to be an interference call. I think what happened was that Bardwell was holding Garrett Smith's stick, so he was unable to essentially compete in the play.
Yeah, I got to ask you, though, Kreckler fired that one all the way down. How hard is that if you're a goalie to make that type of a pass, just kind of clear it out?
The net on the stick is so big, I think it's a little bit easier, yeah. But they call that a Gilman for somebody who played a long time ago. I don't quite remember the story, but that's what the goalie who used to do that all the time, just chuck it down the field, didn't even try to clear.
Must have worked. He got his name in it, right? Yep. Forever known.
Here's Sunling. And Carmel's going to get tagged with a slash. That's number 3, Chase Arbuckle. So as soon as this is turned over, Sunling tried a fancy move. A little backhanded effort. That one goes wide of the cage, though.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he certainly played that one well, and a golden opportunity there for Hamilton Southeastern. I know I talk about those opportunities, but, they don't come along as often as you would like. That would have been big right there for the Royals to get that goal. And you're talking about 2.5 minutes. Carmel is going to have to really, really work hard now and make something happen.
Thank you to our producer, Jerry, for giving me the definition of the Gilman. Gilman was designed as a last-minute play to create some kind of opportunity based on the fact that at the time attackers were much better and faster than defenders. No word on any name, so maybe just somebody made it up. Here's a shot from Bruno. That one gets bounced off. Looks like the back of John Kenny. Thank you, Jerry, for the fact-checking. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, though, real quick, though, would you use, if that play, would you call it a Gilman?
Absolutely. Got a bit of a scrum out front, and it's picked up by Ethan Hall, the Greyhounds, packing in around the crease. Matheny picking it up, though, after failed clear by Carmel. Got to keep it in the box here. Under 2 minutes to go with the lead. The referee didn't look like he made the effort to tell him, but they should know under 2 minutes. Coach Keith Myers had a word with us for us.
It's going to be the longest 145 in the history of lacrosse down here.
A champion will be crowned. 4 goals ahead, barring a miracle. Hamilton Southeastern has done something amazing today, and big chance to win this state championship in the second under the tutelage of Coach Scott Beasley. Picking it up there is All-American Ryan Kemp.
And how about the 16 seniors, though?
What a way to go out if you're Hamilton Southeastern. 70 seconds from glory. I'm going to let this one burn out. The Greyhounds of Carmel will finish 15-4. A legal procedure on Hamilton Southeastern renders that one back to the Greyhounds. Brief stoppage as it resets in position. Picking it up is Ryan Kemp. Off the turnover. Carmel, their fourth appearance in the last 5 years. The last 5 true seasons. And one state championship in those 5 years. Certainly successful, and Coach Jack Meacham knew the success of this program weighed on his shoulders. But Coach Scott Beasley and his assistants Jeff Dombeck and Tim Shefferly have done something amazing here at Hamilton Southeastern. And for Ty DeSplinter and Ryan Kemp, who started as freshmen on that 2018 state championship run team, they have led this group, along with 14 other seniors, to their second state championship in their tenure as student athletes at Hamilton Southeastern. And the Royals are your 2021 2A IHSLA state champions.
And you know what? You see the fans making their way. It's a great time to get a souvenir.
It sure is.
Helmets laying everywhere and sticks.
Flying. Absolutely flying. But you gotta love the student section jumping out there. I believe I'm hearing the giant boom. There might be fireworks to our right.
Yep, you're exactly right.
That's awesome. So if you can hear that over the over your TV screen, your computer screen, that's amazing. Hamilton Southeastern, 10-6. 2 goals from Sunling, 2 from Garrett Smith. Or 3 goals from Sunling, 2 from Garrett Smith, 1 from Blaine Wirtz. Several others contributing, and Coach Scott Beasley has done it. The last time these two teams met, they won 13-9. They win 10-6 today. Troy, how did they do it?
Well, I'll tell you what. They had that spurt when they were down 1-0, and then it just started rolling after that. And when they had that excellent second quarter, I think that was the difference. And Carmel, trying to play from behind, just didn't have enough firepower. Made a few mistakes there in that second half. And though they did answer a couple of times, Hamilton Southeastern came right back and scored again. But 2 very, very good lacrosse teams here today. And you kind of knew it was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be this low scoring, but bottom line is you knew goals were going to be at a premium.
Well, Carmel started out hot, and HSE didn't score their first goal until 9 seconds. And maybe you jinxed them in for them a good way, because you said, when was the last time they got shut out in the first quarter?
Yeah.
They answer quickly with that. With 9 seconds to go, they get their first goal. They score 6 unanswered in the second quarter. Go up 7-1 at halftime, and then from there it was all Royals. The Carmel Greyhounds, they were starting to catch up one by one here, and it just didn't really work out for them.
Yeah, you'll have to refresh my memory. The one goal they came off the face-off was within 8 seconds.
Right.
And
no,
so,
right.
Just showed you how quickly they could produce. And, the good teams always find ways to come back after maybe a little bit of adversity, and that's what Hamilton Southeastern did. The flow of the offense wasn't what they wanted early on, but once they got that first goal, they kind of felt, here we go, and things were better.
So the chance of a lifetime for Hamilton Southeastern and Coach Scott Beasley to get his second ring for these kids, and Titus Splinter and Ryan Kemp, starters on that team, but obviously the seniors were a part of that as well. Troy, this was
been
a pleasure, man.
No, thank you. I learned a lot from you today, and it's great to have somebody with your knowledge, and just it was fun.
Likewise, my friend. It was so much fun, and I hope we get to do it again.
I do too.
For our producer, Jerry Collins, for our cameraman, Chance Middleton, our sideline reporter, Keith Myers, thank you so much. My name is Joey Lindstrom. We will see you once again. This has been a presentation of the IHSLA State Championships, powered by IndianaSRN. Have a great night.